I've got a question for you here, and I'm going to give my own answer on this, or at least some thoughts on this. When was the last martyr? Now, first of all, we are going to exclude anyone martyred in a non-Christian religion. That includes the Conciliar Church. I don't think the traditions even have any martyrs, but if they did, they'd have to be excluded. Obviously, we exclude Episcopalians, Methodists. Okay, we're looking for real Catholic martyrs. So the first qualification is they've got to be Catholic. All right, and that's where we're going to go at. And I'm going to go over to Wikipedia because here is a possible candidate. Father Emil Capon from the state of Kansas, ironically, born over just east of Salina, as I recall. I looked up the town, I believe, Pilsen, which is where he's from. He was in the military ordinariate as a priest. He was a captain, according to Wikipedia. He was born April 20th, 1916, yes, Pilsen, Kansas. Died May 23, 1951, at age 35 in Poitong, North Korea. He had been captured by the communists. His story is quite fascinating. I do not believe it's currently in reprint. I have been in contact with people who own the copyright, and they're supposed to be bringing all of the priest's works back in print, who wrote an excellent book on Father Capon. It's a fascinating story. So if you can get it, read it. Okay, he would be a candidate for that. There's possibly someone between 1951 and October 9, 1958. Some do say Pope Pius XII himself was martyred, and there is some evidence to that effect. He died, and they cut short the viewing of his body because his body turned green. I know someone who was in Rome at the time and heard these stories, and I've heard them from other spots as well. In any case, they claim they used a new embalming technique on it, and something went wrong. I said, all right, just a darn minute. Since when do you do experimental procedures on the Pope? Okay, let us say Barack Obama was shot tomorrow or died of a heart attack. Would they try a new embalming technique on him? I don't think so. You don't do that with public figures. So I don't buy the story. I would say if he turned green, it could be from poisoning. But then, of course, we don't know. All right. And Father Emil Capon, we know when he died. We have eyewitnesses to his death who have spoken. With Pope Pius XII, there's a question. And the next person I'm going to put up, who might be my main candidate for the position, is Lucia dos Santos. No, she didn't die in the late 90s. Let's go over to Wikipedia a minute, and we'll look up Lucia dos Santos. I'm sure she got her. Oh, yes, here we go. Yeah, February 13, 2005. No way, Jose. That's not when she died. I believe she's murdered. Someday I may make a video and pull the pictures. They're all over the internet showing the real and the fake Sister Lucy. The real one is from the late 50s. The fake met Anti-Pope Paul VI, who I think was Antichrist. And so we have Lucia dos Santos. In early 1959, she went to her superiors and says, I want to talk to the world on the radio about Fatima. We have a letter supposedly from her July 2nd of 1959 where she denies the Father Fuentes interview. I say supposedly. It's my opinion between when she made the request to go on the radio about Fatima, July 2nd, 1959, she was martyred. She was killed for the faith. We have the Blessed Virgin's assurance she would go to heaven, and who do we know more that goes to heaven than martyrs? Will we ever have evidence on earth so that we could open a canonization cause? Probably not. That's not important. To become a saint, you have to save your soul and go to heaven. You don't have to be put into the martyrology. Although I think she probably has earned a place there. But that's my opinion. She was martyred in the early part of 1959. I believe she was seeing the third secret being fulfilled at that point. That's my personal opinion. Now, I have another candidate, and we'll go over to Wikipedia. Father Joaquin Sanz y Arriaga. He wrote Sedevacante and the New Montanian Church. Sedevacante, I do have a copy in my library in the Spanish, has never been translated. Father Sanz was working towards the election of a pope. In the 70s, he came to Houston, Texas in May of 1976 with Fathers Carmona and Zamora, as I recall, to talk to Archbishop Lefebvre about the election of a pope. You go to Wikipedia, it says October 12, 1899 to April 28, 1976. Now, I just said he was in Houston in May of 1976. This is the information I got from a long time ago, before Wikipedia, before the internet. I was on the internet, at least. That he died a couple months after the May 1976 meeting. When I went to Wikipedia a few years ago and I come up with his April date, I said, hold it just a daggum minute. I thought he died, like July of 76. I never heard an exact date myself. It was like 2 months after that meeting. And in Houston, Texas, of all places. And I thought, no, this is kind of strange. I met all three Mexican priests. I saw them. Mom met them. Mom was able to say Buenos Dias and a couple words in Spanish. None of them spoke English. I later met Fathers Carmona and Zamora after they'd been consecrated by Bishop Peter Martin Yildintook, and they still didn't speak any English. They had a translator along with them who spoke excellent English. We had a couple nice conversations. In any case, none of the three Mexican priests spoke any English. I'm not quite sure how they conversed with Archbishop Lefebvre, because he didn't speak Spanish. They might have gone with Latin, in fact. In any case, here is a case of what I believe is a falsehood on Wikipedia. We know that Wikipedia is put together by people like you and me, and that's where this information is assembled from. According to his biographer, Antonio Rios Facius, Father Sanz died of prostate cancer on April 28, 1976. I still don't buy it. But that's not important. It's my personal opinion for promoting a papal election. He may, I say may, have been killed. If the story I heard is true, it doesn't make any sense. They came up to visit Stafford, Texas, St. Jude's Shrine, where Archbishop Lefebvre was, in May of 76. I've discussed this in a separate video. In fact, it's probably in a couple different videos. But it was our presumption. In fact, that's what I believe happened. They had their morning meeting. They went back to Mexico. All three priests. They didn't. There's no reason why Father Sanz would have stayed in Houston, of all places. If he was going to work with Archbishop Lefebvre and gotten something favorable, I could see him going to Switzerland. That would have made some sense. He'd already been to Rome to talk to some of the conservative cardinals and say, hey, we got to get rid of this Montini. He's not Pope. He got nowhere with them. So, that's a possibility. And I will put his name out as a possible martyr because I don't have any, real good evidence on the whole matter. But that's a good question. When was the last martyr? And when will the next martyr be? Will it be you? Are you ready to die for our Lord Jesus Christ? Ask yourself that question seriously. Because we must be ready to lay down our life for Jesus Christ. Well, when was the last martyr? I wonder.